Welcome to Mystic Realms Recap. Please like, share, and subscribe. Enjoy today's episode.
By family. Dressed in white, with white temples, the elegant and easygoing head of the Bai family, by Yun, stood up abruptly and looked in the direction of the Chen family with a look of astonishment. His eyes seemed to be in disbelief. It has only been a few days, but I have made a new breakthrough. With such terrifying mental power, I am afraid that I will soon be able to break through the 6th grade War King and stand on the same level as those top prodigies in the empire. He is only 18 years old. With his talent, he is destined to be another 8th grade war emperor. The Chen family, I'm afraid, is about to reach a higher level again. Thinking of this, even Bai Yun became a little worried. Although Chen Beiyuan is engaged to his daughter Bai Ruobing and is the future uncle of the Bai family. But can Bai Ruobing really be able to tie down Chen Beiyuan? With the terrifying talent that Chen Beiyuan has shown now, I am afraid that it will shock all the forces and have other thoughts. I'm afraid even the royal family will have other ideas. An engagement is just an engagement after all. It's still not safe enough. I hate that old B*** D Chen Zhiqing, who keeps saying that his son is still young and has just grown up, so he is not in a hurry to get married and will wait for a few years. Bai Yun was so angry when he thought of this. Such a good son-in-law is too good and too damn coveted. He was already in a bad mood and was attracted by the noise outside. Soon he saw Bai Yuza having fun outside, and his blood pressure spiked. Both 18 years old, Chen Beiyuan is almost the 6th grade champion. Is this little B*** D just a 4th grade general? It's okay if you don't compare, but when you compare, it's really like the sky and the earth. Nye Zhan, you just know how to play? Lin. Chen Zhiqing gave birth to a good son. Lin Shufeng had a majestic face and sharp eyes, looking in the direction of the Chen family. Immediately, he looked at Lin Jiuzhou next to him. However, my son is not bad either. Father is overrated, Lin Jiuzhou said calmly. But in his eyes, one can clearly see a trace of dignity and fighting spirit. Obviously, Chen Beiyuan's cultivation speed was somewhat beyond his expectation. Lin's backyard. After 2 days, Lin Xiao, who had recovered from his injuries, changed slightly and looked in the direction of the Chen family with a cold expression. In the past 2 days, through his relationship with Lin Jiuxiao, he had collected a lot of powerful poisonous bee sacs and used the poison in them to strengthen himself and improve his fighting spirit. His strength has further improved, and he has reached the high level of war commander. I thought I could catch up with Chen Beiyuan's progress. Unexpectedly, it was still a lot worse. The opponent is almost breaking through to the Battle King. It's as if he is living in the other person's shadow. Whenever you make a breakthrough, the other party will reveal a higher level of cultivation. Damn it. Empire Club. Jiang Yunhua stood on a high place, wearing a platinum dress with a phoenix totem tattooed on it, fluttering in the wind, and the fire phoenix seemed to be coming to life. A pair of shining starry eyes looked in the direction of the Chen family with some kind of special emotion. Beiyuan. Donghua University, Principal's Office. Zhang Bai's movements in his hands suddenly stopped, and he looked in the direction of the Chen family. A trace of surprise flashed across his majestic and solemn face. Then, it turned into silence again. It would be great if such a person was born in the Zhang family. Chen Beiyuan's move once again attracted the attention of all forces in Yinjing City. The speed of his cultivation was so fast that it was surprising, shocking, fearful, and frightening. It can be seen that the Chen family will usher in a new peak in the next few hundred years, and the military power in their hands may even be strengthened. This will undoubtedly make some people happy, but also make some people sad. However, when all forces gathered at the Chen family, no one noticed that there seemed to be subtle changes in the location of the 3rd theater of war in the empire. The change didn't appear for long. It just passed by in a flash, as if it was covered up by a powerful force. Then, uncontrollable heroic laughter resounded throughout the war zone. Chen family. The elders of the Chen family who had gathered gradually retreated. In the secret room, Chen Beiyuan absorbed the condensed, terrifying spirit chi vortex, transformed it into demonic energy, and then slowly stood up. At this moment, in front of him, there was a giant demon puppet several feet tall, with a green face and fangs, holding a giant stick and glowing with a metallic cold light, guarding him. This troll puppet, which is as tall as 7th grade, was given to him by his father Chen Zhiqing 2 days ago. It is the proud work of a top puppet master from the Donghua Wei family. Its combat power is enough to fight the ordinary 7th grade war emperor. The moment he got it, Chen Beiyuan refined it. The value of a puppet that is not afraid of life and death and has the combat power of a 7th grade war emperor can be imagined. However, when Chen Zhiqing handed it to him, he just patted him on the shoulder and said nothing more. I don't know how my father is doing now. I think with the blessing of Wu Dao Pill, I should be able to break through smoothly. Chen Beiyuan put his hands behind his back, looked at the tall and mighty troll puppet in front of him, and murmured to himself. 2 days ago, when Chen Zhiqing handed the troll puppet to him, Chen Beiyuan gave him the Wu Dao Pill in his hand. The intelligence Dao Pill had little effect in his hand. But it's different with Chen Zhiqing, the 7th grade war king at his peak. Chen Zhiqing has been stuck in this realm for 10 years and has lacked opportunities to go further. The enlightenment pill that can last for 48 hours is that opportunity. Once Chen Zhiqing can take a step further, it will be a new world. It is always not good to blindly ask for money from the family. When necessary, it is natural to repay 1 or 2 things in return. The strength of his family is also an increasingly powerful backer for him. Even the huge movement just now was intentional by Chen Beiyuan. He could have done it quietly, but he decided to cause such a big battle just to attract the attention of all parties. I've done everything I can, and then it's up to my father. He waved his hand, and the troll puppet in front of him suddenly turned into a stream of light, turning into a black ring and wearing it on his right hand. Suddenly, a throbbing deep in his blood caused a violent reaction in him. His eyes suddenly looked to the side. That is clearly the direction of the blood pool. The bloody dragon emperor is reborn. Chen Beiyuan's pupils trembled, and he instantly turned into a demonic shadow and appeared in front of the blood pool. What he saw was a broken dragon egg floating in the blood pool. But the existence inside the dragon egg disappeared silently. Ran? Chen Beiyuan subconsciously walked to the blood pool and stroked the broken dragon egg that was still warm and moist. Obviously, the other party should have just been born. It's impossible to run. At this moment, a huge shadow silently appeared behind him, and hot breath mixed with the strong smell of blood spat on his neck. Behind, Chen Beiyuan's pupil shrank. Obviously, he didn't expect that the other party could hide his perception ability. This has never happened before. You know, even the 7th grade war emperor cannot hide from his perception. Immediately, he ignored the itching on his neck caused by the hot breath and the strong smell of blood that kept pouring out of his nose. He stood up slowly and turned around slowly. As soon as he turned around, what came into view was an evil and majestic huge dragon head, less than a fist away from him. The dark dragon horns are burning with bloody flames. The scarlet scales are. The ferocious dragon mouth is full of sharp fangs, and the scarlet dragon mane is flying wantonly around its neck. However, what shocked Chen Beiyuan the most were its eyes. Its eyes are not scarlet like the blood evil dragon. Rather, born with double eyes. In the huge dragon eyes, 2 pupils, one black and one red, intertwined like yin and yang tai chi, forming a circle and rotating slowly. Along with the movement of the strange heavy eyes, mysterious and strange lines could be vaguely seen surging, carrying a terrifying pressure that could destroy the world. Under the gaze of the 4 slowly rotating evil dragon eyes, Chen Beiyuan only felt that the world in front of him began to collapse little by little, like a torn picture scroll, and his soul fell into the boundless darkness of nothingness. Being in the boundless darkness of nothingness, he suddenly felt an earth-shaking shock of terror and soon saw a scene he would never forget. 2 blood moons and 2 dark suns appeared in the sky, intertwining and surrounding each other. In the darkness, The looming scales and horns and sharp claws could easily tear the void apart, setting off terrifying waves in the darkness. The huge thing hidden in the darkness of the void was looking down at him at the moment. "Stupid and dirty humans, become my slaves." A majestic and terrifying voice suddenly emerged from the sky, like a high-ranking emperor. The bloody dragon emperor? Chen Beiyuan's pupils shrank, and he felt that his soul had been hit by an unprecedented impact, as if he was about to sink into boundless darkness. His eyes gradually became dull, as if he had lost control of himself. But at this moment, a sitting and forgetting intention suddenly appeared on his body, and he directly entered this sitting and forgetting state, instantly guarding his mind and protecting his soul. Astonishingly, Zhuang Dao Jing began to work independently. At the same time, the prison-suppressing demonic scripture, the natal skill, also noticed something strange and began to undergo strange changes. In the depths of his pupils, a taboo and terrifying existence suddenly shocked him. Tear. A bottomless and terrifying gap suddenly opened in the dark sky above the void. Abyss has arrived. In an instant, the entire darkness of the void and the hidden behemoth were swallowed up by the abyss. At the last moment of devouring, an angry dragon roar mixed with shock and anger could be vaguely heard. No! This angry dragon roar seems to be mixed with a bit of fear and fear of the unknown. What's even more surprising is that this voice is somewhat feminine. Click. The huge abyssal rift closed again. Belch. Abyss burped. What a bloody dragon emperor. He actually gave himself a backup plan and left a spiritual imprint in advance. He almost capsized in the gutter. Chen Beiyuan's expression changed slightly as his consciousness returned to his physical body. Apparently, he didn't expect that he had almost been harmed by the blood-evil dragon emperor. Fortunately, he has many trump cards, a little more than ordinary people. Otherwise, he would really have to let the other party take advantage of him. Once his spirit falls, he becomes the other party's slave and is allowed to manipulate him. Originally, I thought about using the other person as a pet, but in the end, I almost turned into someone's pet. When the time comes, this human darling, will probably have to protect the path of the reborn bloodthirsty dragon emperor. Hiss. Chen Beiyuan admitted that he had underestimated the other party before. I thought that after the other party lost his memory after being reborn, he should be able to handle it easily. Unexpectedly, I was almost taken advantage of. Sure enough, being able to grow to an 8th grade ferocious beast is no simple master. I'm afraid the backhand left behind can easily kill people. However, the last voice of the bloody dragon emperor seems a little weird. It seems to be a female dragon? Empress of the dragon race? Chen Beiyuan's face looked a little strange. He obviously didn't expect that the rumored bloodthirsty dragon emperor, who likes to hunt dragon race, would actually be a female dragon. This seems to be a little different from what he expected. He raised his eyes and saw a huge creature nearly 3 meters long, tilting its head and looking at him curiously. That day, the dragon eyes of dual pupils were no longer as majestic and domineering as in the darkness of the void. Instead, they were ignorant, clear, and bright, just like a newborn creature. Scarlet evil dragon scales, a terrifying dragon body containing terrifying power, powerful dragon claws on its limbs, but the scales on its abdomen are pitch black. The blood-red dragon's tail flicks, indicating that it is in a good mood. Obviously, after the rebirth, the bloody dragon emperor had obviously lost all his previous memories and was like a new individual. What made Chen Beiyuan feel his mouth twitch was that the blood dragon in front of him actually exuded the aura of a 6th grade ferocious beast. 6th grade from birth? A level higher than him? All I can say is that it is indeed a purebred dragon race. Its starting point is a height that many people find difficult to reach in their lifetime. Perhaps sensing his gaze, the blood-evil dragon in front of him actually made some movement and approached him directly. Chen Beiyuan's mind moved, but he made no other moves, as if he wanted to see what the other party was going to do. At this moment, he didn't notice the other party's malice. but instead felt some kind of ignorant closeness. Immediately, he felt a terrifying sense of restraint coming over him, as if he was being entangled by a giant python. The terrifying force made even the body of a 6th-grade magic weapon feel suffocated. The blood evil dragon actually entangled him directly. It was like a prelude to some kind of giant python hunting its prey. At this moment, Chen Beiyuan, who was trapped by entanglement, had a flash of surprise in his eyes. With such terrifying power, some 7th-grade ferocious beasts may not be so terrifying. At this moment, he subconsciously activated the blood dragon transformation, and important parts of his body were gradually covered with scarlet dragon scales. His body became taller and stronger, and evil dragon patterns appeared on his face, with sharp scarlet scales growing out. Dragon horn. The whole person has a majestic and evil feeling. With the use of blood dragon transformation, the strength of his physical body instantly soared, and most of the suffocating pressure dissipated instantly. The dragon scales between each other grinded and collided with each other, making a crisp and sweet sound. The huge dragon head slowly came to him, as if ready to swallow him in one bite. However, the next scene made Chen Beiyuan a little stunned and dumbfounded. I saw that after the huge dragon head came closer, it rubbed towards his face, making it look particularly intimate. Come, play ha. Although the bloody dragon emperor did not make the slightest sound. But a young Lolita sound suddenly appeared in Chen Beiyuan's heart, making him look extremely cute and cute. In a sense, Chen Beiyuan, who has absorbed the essence and blood of the dragon emperor, also contains part of the dragon race bloodline, and can understand its meaning to a certain extent. And the other party obviously regards him as a kindred spirit, or a relative, very intimate. After all, after entering the blood dragon transformation, at this moment, he does have some similarities with the blood evil dragon. Chen Beiyuan stretched out his right hand covered with dragon scales from the restrained dragon body, stroked the huge dragon head in front of him, and tried to communicate with it. Do you remember what happened before? Come, play ha. The bloody dragon emperor shook his head, as if he was not disgusted by his touch, and even liked it, just like a puppy being touched by its owner. The bloody dragon's tail shook even more happily, slapping his thigh crazily. Then what do you want to play? Come, play ha. No matter what question Chen Beiyuan asked it, it almost always had one response, and that was come, play ah. This reaction can almost be said to fully expose the playful character of a newly born baby dragon. Everything you ask is just fun. Facing such a playful young dragon, even Chen Beiyuan was helpless. It was difficult to connect the playful young dragon in front of him with the domineering and cold-blooded dragon emperor in the darkness of the void. Sure enough, even when he was a cruel and terrifying existence, he still looked so cute in his childhood. However, don't look at this guy's confused appearance. But Chen Beiyuan knew very well that its physical body was even more terrifying than his after-blood dragon transformation. If it really takes action, it may not be able to kill the ordinary 7th-grade ferocious beasts. Then let me give you a name. Why don't you just call me Anu from now on? Perhaps it was because the spiritual imprint left by the bloody dragon emperor just now said that he would be taken into custody as a human slave. As a result, the name Chen Beiyuan is somewhat playful at this moment. However, to his surprise, this time, the bloody dragon emperor did not continue to say that he wanted to play, but tilted his head and was a little stunned. Ah, slave. Could it be that the blind cat met the dead mouse and he really guessed the name of the bloody dragon emperor? At this moment, even Chen Beiyuan was a little stunned. He just chose a name at random. How could it be such a coincidence? However, Anu's reaction next clearly showed that he was just overthinking. I saw that it just tilted its head and was stunned for less than 3 seconds before returning to its playful character. Come, play ha. Sure enough, there is no such thing as a coincidence. However, the system prompt that suddenly appeared next made Chen Beiyuan really stunned. Ding! Congratulations to the host for changing the original fate line, saving the 8th-grade beast, blooded dragon emperor, that should have fallen into the void turbulence and completely perished, and and helped it to be reborn successfully. The reborn, blooded dragon emperor. He has an inexplicable love for the host, which will become the host's future help and enhance the host's fate as a villain to a certain extent. Ding! Congratulations to the host for receiving a special reward. Ancient Prisoner Dragonlock, 8th Grade Divine Weapon. Ancient Dragonlocks, 8th Grade Divine Weapon in the ancient times. In order to fight against Dragon Race, ancient clans spent the entire clan's resources to forge 9 ancient Dragonlocks to restrain Dragon Race's terrifying body and imprison it. Once the Dragonlock is released, even 8 grades pureblood Dragon Race has to be restrained by it and can be captured without any help. The 9 prison Dragonlocks can be combined into one to block the 9th grade Dragon God. The appearance of this object completely angered the entire Dragon Race. The ancient clan was eventually destroyed by the angry Dragon Race, and the 9 prison Dragonlocks also disappeared without a trace. 8th grade magic weapon. Ancient prison Dragonlock? Chen Beiyuan's pupils trembled. He obviously didn't expect that he would actually get an 8th grade magic weapon after saving the bloodthirsty Dragon Emperor who had never appeared in the original work. You must know that the 8th grade divine weapon can be forged by fusing the body of the 8th grade ferocious beast and a large number of precious treasures, and it contains the power to destroy a country. Even the top forces don't have a few 8th grade magic weapons. After all, this thing is too rare. Some 8th grade war emperors may not have this stuff. They are all using 7th grade magic weapons. Even as the young master of the Chen family, he does not have such a terrifying magic weapon. Several of the Chen family's 8th grade weapons are now in the hands of his grandfather, Chen Shanhe. His father Chen Zhiqing may also have one. It's not that he is not qualified to possess it, but that the 8th grade magic weapons are extremely powerful, and even if they are not sufficiently cultivated, they are difficult to control. With his current cultivation as a 5th grade War Master, he might not be able to exert even 1,000th of the power of an 8th grade divine weapon. If it's not good enough, it will attract the covetousness of some 8th grade war emperors. At that time, it will be a child walking around the city with gold, and he will be easily robbed every minute. There had been a tragic case before. A top-notch war emperor equipped his favorite grandson with an 8th grade weapon. However, it turned out to be targeted by an independent cultivator war emperor who snatched it and fled overseas. Hiding. No matter how strong the top forces are, they are still beyond their reach. After that, all the top forces would not give their heirs 8th grade magic weapons, but chose to equip their heirs with corresponding Taoists. Ancient Prisoner Dragon Lock. This 8th grade magic weapon is quite famous. It is a magic weapon specially used to restrain Dragon Race's powerful physical body. It is so effective against Dragon Race, let alone against other races. Human race's 8th grade war emperor was locked, with almost no ability to resist. In the original work, Lin Xiao, the son of fortune, seemed to have obtained an ancient prison dragon lock in an ancient clan ruins and regarded it as a trump card, killing many enemies. Chen Shanhe, the ancestor of the Chen family, was fighting against a ferocious alien beast when his limbs were tied up by the dragon prison lock that suddenly appeared. He was eventually cut into pieces by the ferocious alien beast. The fall of Chen Shanhe directly led to the decline of the Chen family. The fall of the entire border front also caused the fall of most of the Donghua Empire. The Chen clan was also massacred by ferocious alien beasts. Chen Beiyuan looked at the ancient prisoner dragon lock placed in the system space, and there seemed to be a terrifying murderous intent deep in his eyes. At this moment, Chen Beiyuan, who was lost in thought, did not realize one thing yet. That is, from just now until now, he has maintained the divine ability of blood dragon transformation, a powerful beast without any intention of consuming huge amounts of money. The blood evil dragon emperor, Anu, who was entangled in him, seemed to have a special connection with him, greatly reducing the consumption of blood dragon transformation. Leng family. Leng Ruobing's situation during this period was not very good. While she was taking care of her vegetative father, she began to search for her missing mother. However, a large number of Leng family members suddenly came to the door, trying to drive away the father and daughter and monopolize the Long family's ancestral home. This makes it clear that she is bullying her family and intends to destroy her family. If she hadn't pulled out Chen Beiyuan's tiger skin to scare away those scum for a short time, she would have been kicked out. However, she knew very well that Chen Beiyuan's tiger skin would not be exposed for long before she. What should I do? They will soon find out that I am just pulling the skin of a tiger, and Chen Beiyuan will not care about me anymore. What a shame, those greedy bastards. When the Leng family was in trouble before, they simply packed up their belongings and ran away. Now that the matter has been resolved, they all came back and wanted to occupy the ancestral home. They also wanted to sell me as an elder. Already, I caused my father to become a vegetative state. Now he is selling me for a good price, claiming that he is going to revive the Leng family. He drinks human blood and eats the offal of the poor dog. Leng Ruobing's face was ugly, his hands were clenched tightly, and his eyes showed an undisguised murderous intent. Obviously, she had been quite angry at those relatives in the past few days. Those people are simply bastards, wearing human skin and sucking human blood. Those people not only wanted to occupy the Leng family's ancestral home, but also claimed to have found a good home for her. A direct descendant of a wealthy family had admired her for a long time and was willing to accept her as his concubine. What is an outer room? In fact, he is a lover raised outside. Even if I am Chen Beiyuan's lover, I cannot be the lover of a bullshit young man. Leng Ruobing's face was gloomy. If she wasn't strong enough, she would have fallen out with the Leng family members every minute. However, among those people, there were several immortal elders who were fourth-grade generals. And she is just a peak third-grade fighting spirit. If I were alone, I could hide in Donghua Academy. No matter how arrogant those people are, they would not dare to go to Donghua Academy to cause trouble. But now my father has become a vegetative state and needs someone to take care of him. Chen Beiyuan can't help me anymore. I can only rely on myself from now on. As long as I break through the 4th grade and apply for early graduation from school, everything will get better. After years of hard training and support from her family, her cultivation has reached the peak of the 3rd grade fighting spirit. She is only one step away from condensing the fighting spirit and achieving the 4th grade. As long as you break through the 4th grade, apply for early graduation, pass the graduation test, and get a letter of recommendation, you will then be able to work in a powerful imperial department. With this level of status, the people of the Leng family will also have some scruples and will not dare to be so unscrupulous. A mountain falls when you rely on a mountain, and you fall when you rely on everyone. Only when you are strong can you be a great Dao. As long as you can get the letter of recommendation, it is half the battle and you have entered the Donghua Empire's system. When the time comes, why can't I, Leng Ruobing, rely on my own efforts to step by step become a senior official in the Empire and become a real big shot? When the time comes, we can find my mother as soon as possible. The chill on Leng Ruobing's face dissipated, and his eyes gradually became excited, as if he had found a way to solve the current predicament. Just when she fell into fantasy about the future, a phone ringing interrupted her suddenly. The caller turned out to be Lin Xiao. Leng Ruobing frowned, with undisguised disgust on his face, and hung up directly. However, Lin Xiao was very persistent and kept calling. The continuous ringing of the phone also made Leng Ruobing's mood gradually improve, and she suddenly became irritable. Finally, on the 10th call, Leng Ruobing couldn't bear it any longer and answered the call directly, scolding in a cold voice. Lin Xiao, what do you want? Ruobing, I found my aunt. Lin Xiao's uncontrollably excited voice appeared from the other end of the phone, and what he said also made Leng Ruobing freeze on the spot. Mother, found it? Kyoto nightclub, Supreme Box. I found my aunt through my connections with the Lin family. Now my aunt's condition is not very good. She is still in a coma? Yes, she is with me now. Come over as soon as possible. Lin Xiao quickly hung up the phone, looked at Lin Jiuxiao next to him, and said while holding back the sadness in his heart. She said she'll be there in half an hour. Ha ha ha, it has to be Brother Lin. I really admire your acting skills just now. If you are a film star, you will definitely win the Best Actor award. After hearing the good news, Lin Zhuxiao's face showed undisguised excitement. Ever since he met Leng Ruobing at the Empire Club a few days ago, he has been obsessed with this cold school beauty and can't forget him. Even though he was recuperating at the Lin family these past few days, he didn't stop. Instead, he seemed to be in a daze. He wanted to taste one of the four beauties in Yinjing more and more. I heard that Chen Beiyuan had been chasing this woman for 6 years, but ended up not wanting her after one night. What a waste of money. Then let someone like Lin enjoy it. For this reason, he specifically asked Lin Xiao to ask the other party out and prepare to do it for her here. Brother Lin, as brothers in my heart, you helped me handle this matter. I will definitely not forget you. I have already sent someone to get the Millennium Poisonous Dragon Grass you need. Then thank you, Jiu Xiao. Although he had obtained the treasures of heaven and earth he needed, Lin Xiao couldn't be happy at this moment. Instead, he felt inexplicably disappointed. He actually fell to the point of exchanging resources for his favorite goddess. Isn't this just pimping? How is this different from those turtles in red mansions? The previous time with Chen Beiyuan, he could still convince himself that it was a choice made out of necessity. But is the current situation really a last resort? He could have refused, but he still agreed. Lin Zhuxiao, who was excited at this moment, naturally noticed his loneliness, couldn't help but think of something, and immediately said, Brother Lin, don't you like this woman too? I heard that you were humiliated because you were jealous of Chen Beiyuan at Donghua University. Speaking of this, Lin Zhuxiao's sinister face seemed to be hesitant, and then he seemed to have made a lot of determination. It doesn't matter. Brothers have to be loyal. Leng Ruobing will come soon, and you will come too. Let's deal with her together. Obviously, Lin Zhuxiao really regarded Lin Xiao as a brother. Otherwise, how could he say such things with his playboy temperament? If you want him to give up, it is definitely impossible. Then let's be good brothers together. Lin Zhao's face changed slightly, and he seemed to be a little moved, and he was even more excited when he thought of what might happen next. But the debt and guilt deep in his heart towards Leng Ruobing still made him dare not stay and face him. Especially, you have to watch the other person being humiliated. Forget it, Jiu Xiao. Just have fun. I won't stay here to disturb you, so I'll take my leave now. Regardless of Lin Zhuxiao's persuasion behind him, Lin Xiao resolutely walked out of the box door and walked outside. Being born poor, you have to do whatever it takes. I'm not wrong. I'm not wrong. I don't want it. I don't want it either. What can I do? What can I do? Even if I don't agree, will Lin Zhuxiao let Leng Ruobing go? Impossible. Impossible. He will definitely use other means. In this case, he might as well let me get some benefits. I just made the choice that suits me best. That innocent and kind mountain boy back then is dead. Already dead. I killed him with my own hands. I killed him with my own hands. This shitty world can't leave a good person behind. He lowered his head and muttered to himself, and his whole person became confused, as if he was crazy. Even if he accidentally bumped into someone at the door of the nightclub, he didn't notice. Who the hell dares to hit me? At this moment, Beiyuan, who was hit, was about to curse, but he was a little stunned after seeing Lin Zhao's lost look and talking to himself. Lin Xiao? What's wrong with this guy? Could it be that someone in the family died and he had a mental breakdown and went crazy? Before he could react, he watched Lin Xiao disappear into the dark night. At this moment, a hurried figure rushed towards this side with an anxious look on his face. Beiyuan, who was standing there in a daze, was almost hit again and quickly avoided it. But just as he was dodging, Beiyuan clearly saw the true appearance of the hurried figure. Leng Ruobing? Why is she here? After learning the news about her mother, who had been missing for many days, Leng Ruobing was undoubtedly excited and rushed to the Kyoto nightclub as quickly as possible. Even if he almost bumped into someone on the way, he couldn't care less. There is no way. According to Lin Zhao's description, her mother, in BU, is not in a good situation now. After losing her father, it was difficult for her to accept the loss of another relative. At this moment, with the intervention of family affection, she did not even think about the authenticity of Lin Zhao's phone call, nor did she think about whether the place she was going to was a dragon's pond, a tiger's den, or an endless abyss? Supreme Emperor Box Number 1. During a hurried search, Leng Ruobing quickly found the destination and pushed in with excitement. However, when she entered the box, she did not see her imaginary mother, nor Lin Xiao. Only Lin Jiuxiao, who had a sinister look on her face, sat on the sofa and looked at her playfully, her eyes full of evil light. Miss Long, no, it should be Ms. Long. Welcome to my territory. Are you the third young master of the Lin family? Lin Jiuxiao? Where is Lin Xiao? Where is my mother? Where are they? Leng Ruobing's expression changed slightly, and his excited thoughts calmed down instantly. He sensed something was wrong and realized that this might be a trap. Subconsciously retreated outside. Snapped. The door slammed shut. Ashan, who was originally huddled in the corner, entangled in bandages under his black robe, appeared behind the door at some point, blocking the only way out. Ha ha ha, Ms. Long, don't be afraid. Your mother is in the Lin family now. As long as you are obedient and comfortable with me, I will take you back to find Mom. By then, you will even want to find Dad. It's all fine. Lin Jiuxiao, who was sitting on the sofa, stared greedily at the cold figure in front of her. The evil look in her eyes became more intense, with a hint of cat and mouse banter. At this moment, the prey has entered his game, and it is not just for him to need. The night is long, there is plenty of time to play, there is no rush. Damn it! Leng Ruobing's heart trembled, and she instantly realized that this was a game specifically targeted at her. It's all a lie that her mother was found. Lin Xiao regarded her as a chip and sold her directly in exchange for his own future. From the corner of her eye, she glanced at the black-robed guard Taoist Ashan behind her, but she immediately showed a look of despair. 7th grade War King. This is simply not something that her little 3rd grade fighting spirit can contend with. And her little movements were naturally seen clearly by Lin Jiuxiao, and the teasing meaning in her eyes became more and more intense. Lin Jiuxiao, you are crazy. Chen Beiyuan will not let you go. At the critical moment, Leng Ruobing once again played the Beiyuan card in the hope of scaring the opponent. I'm afraid even Leng Ruobing didn't expect that since Chen Beiyuan broke up with him, whenever she encountered danger, the first thing she would think of would be him. Whenever something goes wrong, the name Chen Beiyuan is always used to scare people. In the past, as long as she played the Beiyuan card, almost everyone would be jealous and worried. Unfortunately, this time, she miscalculated. **ch, are you trying to scare me with Chen Beiyuan? He, Chen Beiyuan, can play, but I, Lin Jiuxiao, can't. Lin Jiuxiao's expression suddenly turned sinister and crazy. He was obviously stimulated, and his face no longer had the playful look of a cat playing with a mouse. In a moment, I will let you know how powerful I am. Damn it. Facing Lin Jiuxiao, who was approaching him step by step, Leng Ruobing's expression changed drastically. Apparently, he didn't expect that he would directly anger the other party by just mentioning Chen Beiyuan. On the contrary, this is a bit of a waste of money. At this moment, all her ways of survival have been blocked, and her next end is naturally conceivable. When she thought of this, she couldn't help but take out a dagger from her pocket and put it on her neck. Her desperate eyes gradually became firm. Even if you commit suicide, you won't be able to suffer this humiliation. However, she obviously underestimated Lin Jiuxiao's bottom line. Ha ha ha, you still want to commit suicide? You have character and are strong enough. I haven't tasted the taste of death yet. When the time comes, I will drag your body out to tour the city. Facing the crazy Lin Jiuxiao, Leng Ruobing's face turned pale. Apparently, he didn't expect that this person would be so disgusted. Today, she may not be able to escape the murderous hand. However, for some reason, the figure of Chen Beiyuan suddenly appeared in her mind, as if he would appear at this critical moment to save her. How is that possible? He doesn't care about me anymore. Leng Ruobing smiled sadly, and the wrist holding the dagger trembled slightly. However, what she didn't know was that during the journey from Leng's house to Kyoto nightclub, behind her, there was a shadowy figure of an old woman from beginning to end, following her not far or near. Since Chen Beiyuan had decided to use her as a chess piece, he naturally arranged for the corresponding people to be responsible for monitoring and protecting her. At this moment, the hunched old woman was standing outside the box, clearly sensing the movement inside. At this moment, even Ashen, the 7th grade war emperor, was unaware of her presence. The juniors of the Lin family are becoming less and less mature. The hunchbacked old woman knew very well that Leng Ruobing would be fine for a while inside. So, she slowly took out an old-fashioned mobile phone and dialed a secret number with little skill. Chen family. Chen Beiyuan soaked his naked body in the blood pool, enjoying the hot blood of the ferocious beast with his eyes closed. A pair of delicate and plump little hands were massaging his shoulders and strong back. And Bu was dressed in gauze, like a maid serving her master, kneading and massaging the young man in front of her somewhat unskilledly. Looking at the strong body in the blood pool, that cold and charming face turned a little rosy. At this moment, the cell phone placed in the blood pool suddenly rang. Chen Beiyuan slowly opened his eyes, picked up the cell phone placed next to the blood pool, frowned slightly after seeing the caller, and immediately answered the call. "What's up?" Young Master Beiyuan, Lin Jiuxiao and Lin Xiao set up a trap to trick Leng Ruobing into going to a Kyoto nightclub. "I'm afraid they have some agenda. Do you want me to take action?" The hoarse voice of the hunchbacked old woman appeared from the other end of the phone. "Lin Jiuxiao? Lin Xiao?" Chen Beiyuan's eyes opened, and a cold light suddenly bloomed, and he instantly guessed the strangeness in it. Well, Lin Xiao, the son of fortune, is addicted to giving gifts to his girls. He wants to give them to everyone he meets. In the original work, the most they could do was give him the destiny of being a villain. Suddenly, he frowned slightly and felt the force on his shoulders suddenly become a little heavier. Since she was in a closed space and Chen Beiyuan did not let Bu avoid it, she naturally heard the content at this moment. As soon as she heard that something was about to happen to her daughter, the cold and charming young woman suddenly became panicked and wanted to rush to save people. But the other party was from the Donghua Lin family, and it was obviously not something she could handle alone. At this moment, she is no longer the Miaojiang saintess she used to be. For the current plan, Chen Beiyuan has to take action. Owner. Continue. Facing in Bu's pleading eyes, Chen Beiyuan didn't pay any attention to it and slowly closed his eyes, as if he didn't want to care. Just when she looked desperate, Chen Beiyuan suddenly said coldly to the old woman on the other end of the phone, "Bring them out and break the legs of the rest." "I understand." After receiving instructions from young Master Beiyuan, the hunchbacked old woman was about to hang up the phone and start taking action. However, they saw Bayuza walking towards this side with several burly and tall figures in a menacing manner. Bang! Bayuza took the lead and kicked open the door of the box, frightening everyone inside. "Look at you. You're holding a knife to your neck. If you want to die, go outside." Leng Ruobing, who looked confused and still had a knife in his hand, was kicked out. Snapped. The box door is closed again. "Bayuza, how dare you ruin my good deeds? Bad mother, you dare to touch the woman my brother-in-law has played with. If I don't break your legs today, my uncle will take your surname. F***K her, Leng Ruobing." Hunchbacked old woman? The sudden change instantly confused the two of them. What the hell? Especially Leng Ruobing. A second ago, she was trapped in a dragon's den, immersed in despair, and was about to commit suicide. The next second, Bayuza came in with a group of people, kicked her out of the box, and then blocked Lin Jiuxiao. That man seems to be Chen Beiyuan's brother-in-law? Could it be that Beiyuan asked him to come? After reacting, Leng Ruobing didn't even pay attention to the dagger on his neck. He subconsciously looked around, but he didn't see Chen Beiyuan, and he couldn't help but feel a little disappointed on his desperate face. "No, I have to leave first. If Beiyuan really sent someone to rescue me, I would be wasting a precious opportunity by staying here." Leng Ruobing murmured to himself. Immediately, she fled outside without hesitation. Although, the possibility of Chen Beiyuan having someone come to rescue her is very low. After all, the other party has clearly stated his attitude of making a clean break before. But for some reason, deep in her heart, she always had an inexplicable premonition that Chen Beiyuan would not stand by and watch her. At this moment, her mind could not help but be occupied by that domineering and cold figure. Whenever she encounters danger, that person's presence seems to be like a talisman that can always protect her at critical moments. Even that person has left her world. Beiyuan. The hunchbacked old woman looked silently at Leng Ruobing, who was leaving, and then looked at the box that was tightly closed and screamed and wailed one after another. Her face seemed to be twitching. She never expected that before she could save anyone, Leng Ruobing would come out unscathed. Beiyuan, the brother-in-law of his young master, directly blocked the Lin family. Moreover, Beiyuan also brought a bunch of people with him. Basically, they are all playboys from the major wealthy families in Yinjing City. Among them, there are several 7th grade and sovereign-level guardians. With so many people coming, Lin Jiuxiao and an injured Lin family guard Taoist simply couldn't handle it. Now, he is being pushed to the ground and beaten violently. The hunchbacked old woman ignored the screams in the box and reported to the old-fashioned mobile phone that had not been hung up. Young Master Beiyuan, Leng Ruobing has left unscathed. However, Beiyuan, with a bunch of dandy boys and several 7th grade war emperors, blocked the Lin family's brats and is about to take action. Qin family, blood pool. Xiaobai, why did this guy get involved? Could it be that he just happened to meet him? Chen Beiyuan was also a little confused at the moment. Naturally, he clearly heard Beiyuan's scolding voice from the other end of the phone just now. This brother-in-law is really reliable, and he really cares about matters related to his brother-in-law. Sure enough, Beiyuan's previous words of being brothers in our hearts were not in vain. Without even calling him, he called a bunch of people to kill Lin Jiuxiao, a little brat. You don't have to worry about this matter. Xiaobai has a sense of propriety. If anything happens, I will tell him the truth. Just follow Leng Ruobing. Yes, young Master Beiyuan. After hanging up the phone, Chen Beiyuan slowly rubbed the center of his brows. Originally, he planned to exploit this matter again and hit the Lin family. Unexpectedly, it was Beiyuan who intervened and attracted all the hatred. However, after all, it was the kindness of my brother-in-law. Even then, if things get too big, things will become more troublesome. However, based on his understanding of his brother-in-law, if things went too far, the other party would call him immediately. Owner. It was only at this moment, after confirming that her daughter was safe and sound, that most of the worry on Beiyuan's face dissipated. A trace of emotion and guilt appeared on the cold and charming face. Just now, she was worried about her daughter's safety, but she didn't expect that Chen Beiyuan had already arranged someone to protect Ruobing secretly. If it weren't for Chen Beiyuan, Leng Ruobing would have been played to death by that playboy of the Lin family tonight. Things like this are not uncommon in Yinjing City. Lin Jiuxiao is another pervert with a twisted personality. Over the years, countless women have died at his hands. The death of the legitimate daughter of a small family was not a big deal. The person who died was not a child of a wealthy family who couldn't afford to make much trouble. The most is just 3 drinks as a penalty. Is it possible that Lin Jiuxiao can be killed? With her current status, she was unable to confront the Lin family head-on. Thanks to Chen Beiyuan, she was able to withstand all the pressure. As she was so excited just now, it was obvious that the movements of her hands were a bit heavy. Bang! Her neck was suddenly grabbed by a strong hand, and she suddenly felt a suffocating feeling. Madam, please always remember your identity. What I want is a dog that is obedient and capable of biting. I don't need your intervention to do my job. I said, as long as you do things for me, nothing will happen to your daughter or your husband. Chen Beiyuan, do what I say. Chen Beiyuan said calmly without looking back. No, the Lord man. Just when Beiyuan was about to feel suffocated, she suddenly felt the force on her neck loosen a little. Immediately, she felt the world spin for a while and was thrown directly into the blood pool. The strong smell of blood kept pouring into her nostrils, making it difficult for her to breathe. Bang! Beiyuan swam up from the blood pool, frantically breathing in the air with the strong smell of blood. Her face was flushed, Her long hair was messy, and she looked particularly embarrassed. But for the feeling of almost suffocating to death just now, she didn't have the slightest resentment at this moment. Instead, she felt some kind of forbidden pleasure and feeling. Just when she raised her head and was about to look at Chen Beiyuan, she suddenly felt a violent fluctuation behind her, and the entire blood pool suddenly rose a bit. A feeling of fear from her soul suddenly appeared, making the hairs all over her body stand up, as if something was staring at her from behind. And Biyu suddenly froze on the spot, and with a pair of charming eyes, she could clearly see a huge dragon head slowly rising from the blood pool, causing a turbulent wave. The huge dragon head was only a punch away from her at the moment. The hot breath sprayed on her neck, drying her wet long black hair in an instant. A pair of strange dual pupils were staring at her head. Dragon? There is a dragon in the blood pool? And Biyu's pupils trembled, and she felt stiff all over, as if she was being targeted by some terrifying entity. What frightened her even more was that she could vaguely sense a bloodline pressure similar to Emperor Gu from this dragon. Bell, bell, bell. Just when the atmosphere was frozen, a cell phone ringing broke the deadlock. Chen Beiyuan ignored the stalemate between one person and one dragon in front of him, but looked at the mobile phone next to him. The caller turned out to be his brother-in-law Beiyuan. 3 minutes ago. Kyoto nightclub, Supreme Box number 1. When Beiyuan rushed in with a bunch of pig friends and several other 7th grade and sovereign level guards, the outcome of everything was doomed. Lin Jiuxiao's guardian Taoist, Shan, has not recovered from his injuries since he was executed last time. Faced with the siege of several 7th grade war emperors, he was immediately subdued. Facing the team of dandies headed by Beiyuan, Lin Jiuxiao was instantly at a disadvantage and was directly pushed to the ground to deal with it. Of course, Beiyuan was the one who took the main action, and the rest of the dandy boys could only help hold down Lin Jiuxiao's hands and feet. After all, they were just called to help. Thanks to my cleverness, I noticed something was wrong at the first time. Otherwise, you really would have succeeded. You be asterisk 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 D. You mother. Why don't you take a pee and look in the mirror? You can touch the woman my brother-in-law has played with? If I don't break a few of your legs today, I, Beiyuan, will be living in vain. Beiyuan cursed loudly with a ferocious expression. Originally, he just planned to come to the Kyoto nightclub to have fun, but he didn't expect that he met Lin Xiao who was lost, and Leng Ruobing who came in a hurry. This little demon king of the Bai family was no fool, and he immediately sensed something was wrong. Immediately, he called the owner of the Kyoto nightclub directly and learned that Lin Jiuxiao, a little brat, was in box number 1. And Leng Ruobing happened to be looking for box number 1. Have to. There must be something fishy. In all likelihood, it was that ch Lin Jiuxiao who caused the trouble. Beiyuan knew very well that Lin Jiuxiao was a pervert, and he was most likely setting a trap for women again. You mad? If you set a trap for others, he might not care. But that is the woman that my brother-in-law has played with, and is it something you can get your hands on? If I don't beat the shit out of you today, you will be considered clean. Beiyuan didn't say anything, and directly called all his husband and dog friends. By the way, he also called the Bai family to summon people, saying that he was being bullied outside, and forcefully transferred 2 7th grade battle emperors from the Bai family. It was better now. Lin Jiuxiao, who had originally planned to enjoy it, suffered a disaster and received a severe beating. Beiyuan went straight towards the guy and broke Lin Jiuxiao's legs. Lin Jiuxiao screamed in pain and cursed resentfully. Beiyuan, I'm going to K your mother. You are just Chen Beiyuan's dog. My eldest brother and the Lin family will not let you go. I'll let your mother go. Beiyuan also lost his temper. He picked up a special golf club and threw it into the middle. Bang! Along with heavy objects falling and bloody flesh, the sound of chickens flying and eggs being beaten could be heard. Lin Jiuxiao's eyes suddenly widened, bloodshot and almost bulging out. He looked in disbelief at the bloody mass between the 2 broken legs. His screams and yells stopped suddenly, and he spurted out a mouthful of old blood and fainted. Trench! Yuas, are you serious? Yuza, you are in big trouble now. It's over, it's over. Now things are going big. You can break both legs, but if that thing is broken, the Lin family won't let it go. The few dandy boys who helped hold down Lin Jiuxiao's hands and feet were also confused at this moment and quickly let go of their hands. One by one, they swallowed their saliva as they looked at Lin Jiuxiao, who was unconscious on the ground, with his crotch covered in blood and flesh. This is fatal. There are conflicts, jealousies, fights, and fights between the children of the aristocratic family. Even if the limbs are broken, it doesn't matter. Anyway, their respective families never lack the healing spirit medicine. If you lose, just fight back later and regain your position. But there is a limit to this thing. What do you mean you hit that deadly thing? This can be considered life-threatening. Yuza, hurry up and go back to the Bai family. Avoid the limelight and don't let the Lin family get in the way. Otherwise, your end will definitely not be much better. Lin Jiuxiao's eldest brother is not someone to be trifled with. As the heir to the Lin family, he will definitely demand an explanation from his brother. In the fight between the younger generations, the older generation is not suitable to come forward. You have to be the younger one to solve it. Now you are in big trouble. A playboy who was born in the Wang family of Donghua and had a good relationship with Bai Yuza said quickly. At most, these people can only help by holding down Lin Jiuxiao's hands and feet, and at most they can be regarded as accomplices. Bai Yuza is in trouble. He is the main culprit. When things got so big, the Lin family was the first to come to him to settle the score. The Lin family is one of the guns of the empire and is not someone to be trifled with. Several other dudes who had a good relationship with Bai Yuza also quickly asked Bai Yuza to run away first. It has to be said that although Bai Yuza is not very reliable at times, at critical moments, the husband and dog friends around him are quite interesting. Otherwise, it would be impossible to call so many people with just one phone call. Young Master Bai, leave quickly. Go back to the family first to avoid the limelight, and let the head of the family come forward to negotiate with the Lin family. The Lin family must have received the news at this time and came to block people. If it's a step too late, it will be a disaster. Bai Yuza's bodyguard Daoist and several Bai family war emperors were also frightened by the scene in front of them and quickly wanted to take Bai Yuza away. Lin Jiuxiao's identity is not simple. He is one of the core members of the family. To put it bluntly, if something happens to Lin Jiuxiao, he will be one of the successors to the Lin family. If such a big thing happened, it would be a slap in the face of the Lin family, and the Lin family would not let it go. At this moment, even Bai Yuza, who had calmed down, realized how much trouble he had caused. If I just broke 2 legs, things would be manageable, but no, we can't go back to the Bai family. After the Lin family receives the news, in addition to sending people over, they will definitely send people to block the road to the Bai family. Then they will fall into a trap. Besides, if things get so big, even if I really return to the Bai family, the old man will most likely break my legs. After Bai Yuza calmed down, he looked at Lin Jiuxiao, who was unconscious on the ground, but his mind was running very fast. For this plan, I have to find my brother-in-law for help. The Lin family dares to block the Bai family, but they may not dare to block the Chen family. I'll call my brother-in-law first and see if he can protect me. I have to say that Chen Beiyuan's hunch was quite accurate. Whenever something gets too big, the first thing his brother-in-law thinks of is his brother-in-law. Chen family. Bell, bell, bell. Chen Beiyuan, who was soaked in the blood pool, looked at the call from his brother-in-law in front of him. As if he had expected it, he picked it up and answered the call. Speak directly if you have anything to say. Brother-in-law, I have done something wrong. Can I go to your place to hide? Bai Yuza's mean voice appeared from the other end of the phone. However, his voice was obviously mixed with some uneasiness, and his slightly heavy breathing indicated that he was on his way to run away. Tell me, what happened again? Although he had expected it, Chen Beiyuan still wanted to know how big a fuss his brother-in-law had made. She called him only 3 minutes later, as if she was about to run away for safety. This was somewhat beyond his expectation. I didn't do anything serious. I just broke Lin Jiuxiao's legs. Just a broken leg? That's not a big deal. Is it possible that the Bai family can't even cover this? Does Bai Yuza need to run away for refuge? Etc. Chen Beiyuan instantly noticed something was wrong, twitched the corner of his mouth, and his expression became serious. Which leg is broken? Just the two on the left and right, yes, and the one in the middle. The two on the left and right and the one in the middle. Chen Beiyuan finally understood why his brother-in-law was eager to seek refuge with him. This matter is considered a bit of a big deal. The left and right legs can also be healed with the spirit medicine of heaven and earth, and there will be no problem in jumping around normally. But that thing in the middle, let's not talk about whether it can be cured, but whether it can be used after it is cured. Will there be any psychological shadow? What should I do if I can't lift it? This thing is passed down from generation to generation. If you touch other people's things, it would be strange if the Lin family is not crazy. For any family, carrying on the family line is always a top priority. Bai Yuza has really touched the taboo of the aristocratic family. Even Chen Beiyuan didn't expect this guy to be so aggressive. He went crazy and even hit Lin Juxiao's third leg. Moreover, based on his understanding of his brother-in-law, this thing is probably an understatement. The thing under Lin Juxiao's crotch is probably more serious than being broken. This time, he stabbed the sky. Brother-in-law, I'm your brother-in-law. You can't ignore me. Before my sister left, she specifically told me to discuss any important matter with you. My own father doesn't believe it now and won't even come back to the Bai family. You have to please help me. In my heart, you are closer than my biological father. I will be your brother-in-law for the rest of my life. Bai Yuza shouted pitifully, like a homeless wild dog. Obviously, he also knew that he had made things worse, and the Bai family might not be able to protect him. Maybe you don't have to die, but you can't avoid the pain of flesh and blood. For the current plan, I still have to find my brother-in-law for help. Look at how dead you are. If anything happens, you will die. Come over here. Forget it. I'll have someone pick you up, so that you don't get into trouble along the way. Chen Beiyuan was speechless. However, people should still be protected. After all, he is his brother-in-law, so he is still useful. Although the matter was somewhat complicated by the interference of his brother-in-law, it was still not a big deal. Maybe for the Bai family, this matter is very troublesome. After all, the Lin family is one of the guns of the empire. Who can afford to go head-to-head with the guns? These days, anyone with a gun must be more talkative than a talker. There are still differences between top aristocratic families and top aristocratic families. But for the Qin family, this matter is not too troublesome. There is no way. The Qin family has the thickest guns in the empire, thicker than the Lin family, bigger than the Lin family, and harder than the Lin family. In the simplest and most vulgar terms, your gun is not as big as mine. This was the fundamental reason why Bai Yuza immediately sought help from his brother-in-law. The Lin family dared to block the Bai family. How could they dare to block the Qin family? Can't tell the difference between big and small kings? Chen Beiyuan took his young master token and summoned the strong men of the family to send someone to pick up Bai Yuza so that he would not be intercepted by the Lin family's people on the way, and took him directly to the Lin family. By then, he might not be able to save his third leg. Things got bigger and bigger, and even the Bai family was dragged into the water. I'm afraid there will be a good show next. Chen Beiyuan's eyes were as deep as the abyss, and he murmured to himself. Not far away, an Bu has been entangled by Anu, and the huge dragon head is looking around, where to start its mouth. A pair of strange dual pupils filled with the pressure of a terrifying dragon, which even made an Bu's scalp numb. Obviously, this dragon was afraid that she would be treated as food delivered to the door. Anu, come here. Chen Beiyuan's voice came from the front. And Bu only felt a lightness on her body, and the terrifying dragon body entangled in it was instantly untied, and the huge dragon head dived directly into the blood pool, rushing towards Chen Beiyuan like a husky having fun. The majestic and domineering giant dragon's head rubbed Chen Beiyuan's face affectionately, making a slight dragon roar from time to time, and it actually looked a little cute and cute. I've grown up a lot. Chen Beiyuan patted its head, looked it over, and nodded with satisfaction. The blood of fresh, ferocious beasts in the blood pool is changed every day, and there are basically no ferocious beasts weaker than 5th grade. It is definitely the best nourishment for the bloody dragon emperor. In just a few days, it grew from 3 meters long to more than 10 meters long now, growing very fast. What surprised Chen Beiyuan even more is that as Anu grows, the beast's divine ability, blood dragon transformation, in his body will gradually become stronger and more durable. This is undoubtedly a good thing. I'm afraid Beiyuan never dreamed that his decision to immediately leave the Kyoto nightclub and seek refuge with his brother-in-law was so wise. Because, not long after he and other little friends ran away, the Lin family members arrived. A total of 10 7th-grade war emperors immediately surrounded the entire Kyoto nightclub. Lin Jiuxiao, who passed out in the box, was also picked up immediately. If Beiyuan had run slower, he might have been blocked by the Lin family and taken away by force. Soon after the Lin family left, a fire broke out in a Kyoto nightclub. The fire was so violent that no one, including the boss, survived. The more clever thing about Beiyuan is that he did not listen to the advice of a few husbands and dogs and the family war emperor and returned to the Bai family, because just after learning about the accident of his third brother Lin Jiuxiao, Lin Jiuzhou immediately sent 10 7th-grade war emperors to the Kyoto nightclub, but the young master of the Lin family did not follow him, but went directly to the Bai family. At this moment, the young master of the Lin family was directly blocking the gate of the Bai family. Lin Jiuzhou, come to visit the head of the Bai family and ask for an explanation from my third brother. The loud voice instantly resounded throughout the Bai mansion. Even several other top aristocratic families around were alarmed. I'm afraid no one expected that the young master of the Lin family would dare to go to the Bai family alone to ask for an explanation. It seems ridiculous for a 6th-grade war king to seek explanation from a top family. But when Lin Jiuzhou came on behalf of the Lin family, some people might not be able to laugh anymore. For example, the current head of the Bai family, Bai Yun. The head of the Bai family, who was known for his elegance and easygoing, didn't look very good at the moment. Bang! That evil! Obviously, he was also angered by his youngest son. Someone who wasn't paying attention actually stabbed such a big hole. That's why he is so passive now. When the Lin family asked Lin Jiuzhou to come, they showed an attitude that matters between the juniors should be settled among the juniors. As an elder, if he interferes forcefully, the elders of the Lin family will not be polite. By then, it will be an all-out war. Bai Yun knew very well that the Lin family must have laid a trap on the road that the Bai family must pass. If the traitor of his family dares to come back, he may be trapped in the trap. Lin Jiuzhou is here to silence the Bai family. After all, the Bai family has no control over this matter. At this moment, Bai Yun was so angry that she wished she could break her traitor's legs. It's so fussy. At this moment, a figure appeared quietly and whispered a few words in his ear. Bai Yun's expression remained unchanged, but he was relieved inside. What a sin! I'm not stupid enough to run home. After learning that his evil deeds did not run to Bai's house, he ran directly to Chen's house. Bai Yun cursed secretly, but also felt a little relieved. This damn evil is finally not stupid enough and still has some brains. As long as the Chen family is willing to help, there is still room for maneuver in this matter. Butler, please invite nephew Jiuzhou to come in. Bai Yun also became much calmer and regained his elegant and easygoing demeanor. After all, it was my son who caused the trouble, so I still have to help solve the problem. Necessary compensation is still needed. However, Lin Jiuzhou, who was blocking the door of Bai's house, also received the news that Beiyuan was hiding in Chen's house. What a Bai family! His face darkened, and he walked away without any intention of giving the elder Bai Yun any face. When things got to this point, how could he settle it so easily? Anyone from the Lin family can beat him? Nowadays, who in Yinjing doesn't know that the third young master of the Lin family lost 3 legs due to Beiyuan? This is a slap in the face of the Lin family. Lin. After the unconscious Lin Jiuxiao was sent back to the Lin family, he was directly surrounded by countless doctors comparable to national experts. And after seeing the injuries on that thing, even the national miracle doctors present couldn't help but take a breath of cold air and felt a chill in their crotches. Hey, this thing has been smashed. Even if it is cured by using the spirit medicine of heaven and earth, there will still be problems. With such an injury, I'm afraid I won't be able to keep it, and I'll have to cut off half of it. More than that, I think at least 80% must be cut off. At that time, if you want to restore it, you will need at least 3 regeneration grasses. Then let's do it. If we miss the best medical opportunity, I'm afraid there will be a serious infection. By then, I'm afraid I'll have to cut it all off. It has to be said that the foundations of top aristocratic families are extraordinary after all. You can take top-notch heavenly and earthly spirit medicine such as amputated limb rebirth grass at your fingertips, and there are also many precious heavenly and earthly spirit medicine as auxiliary medicines. Coupled with the help of all the national miracle doctors, Lin Jiuxiao's condition soon improved greatly. When Lin Jiuxiao returned to the family with a gloomy face, the rotten flesh under Lin Jiuxiao's crotch has returned to its original state and is even a lot whiter, just like new growth. When Lin Jiuxiao saw this scene, his cold face was touched. He looked at the doctor next to him and asked, "How's it going?" "Young Master Jiuxiao, the current situation of the third young master has stabilized, and the incomplete limbs have recovered as before. However, the subsequent situation still needs to be observed, but—" The leading doctor carefully considered it, with a look of hesitation on his face. "But what?" Lin Jiuxiao's eyes changed, and he asked without changing his expression. "However, I'm afraid there may be problems with third young master's fertility." The leading doctor swallowed and spoke hesitantly. Even the other doctors behind him had their eyes flickering at this moment, not daring to look directly at Lin Jiuxiao. On the surface, the person is cured, but there are still serious consequences. But this is obviously beyond their capabilities. However, to their surprise, Lin Jiuxiao was not as angry as he imagined, but was very calm and nodded lightly. "I understand. Thank you all doctors for your hard work." The Lin family promised not to miss a penny. In addition, there is also a generous gift for you, housekeeper, to see off the guests. "Thank you, young Master Jiuxiao." "Thank you, young Master Jiuxiao." "Thank you, young Master Jiuxiao." The doctors were overjoyed when they heard this. They did not expect that the young master of the Lin family could be so reasonable, which made their hearts slowly fall. Soon, under the guidance of the housekeeper, the doctors also left one after another with valuable gifts. Lin Jiuxiao stood at the door and suddenly spoke to the air, muttering to himself, "Don't leave any of the people who just died. Bury the whole family together and burn those gifts for them." A bunch of quack doctors can't cure people, but they still have the honor to live? Do they really think that the Lin family runs a charity? "Yes, young master." At the corner, a ghostly figure walked out and disappeared without a trace, after instructing his subordinates to settle the matter. Lin Jiuxiao walked into the room that was filled with the smell of alcohol and blood, and looked at his third brother who was pale and unconscious on the hospital bed. The face of the young master of the Lin family gradually became sinister and ferocious, and his eyes gradually became ferocious, like an enraged beast. Behind him, a terrifying beast with horns appeared silently, its huge eyes staring straight ahead. Suddenly, Lin Jiuxiao's eyelids trembled slightly as he was unconscious on the hospital bed, and his fingers moved slightly. The phantom of the terrifying beast disappeared without a trace in an instant. The ferocious madness on Lin Jiuxiao's face dissipated instantly and returned to calm, as if the scene just now had never happened. "Elder brother." Lin Jiuxiao slowly opened his eyelids, feeling the numbness all over his body and the piece of rotten flesh that had been cut off next to him. He looked at the expressionless elder brother in front of him with a pale face. "Avenge me." His voice was weak and hoarse, but it was filled with creepy resentment. Lin Jiuxiao looked at him expressionlessly. He didn't say yes or no, he just stared at him. Facing his eldest brother's gaze, Lin Jiuxiao was stared at with fury, as if he had been seen through. The resentment on his face gradually dissipated, and his face became submissive, as if he wanted to explain something. "Elder brother, take good care of your injuries." Lin Jiuzhou finally spoke and did not mention the Kyoto nightclub. Immediately, he turned around and walked towards the door. Lin Jiuxiao looked at her eldest brother's back obediently, suddenly thought of something, and her face changed slightly. "Brother, this matter has nothing to do with Lin Xiao and Ashen. Don't mess with them." As the person who knows his eldest brother's cruel methods best, Lin Jiuxiao knew very well that Lin Xiao and Ashan must have been arrested. What happened in the Kyoto nightclub cannot be concealed. If he doesn't wake up, both of them will have to sacrifice to heaven. Even if he wakes up, these two people will probably be worse off than dead. But one is his brother, and the other is Taoist, who has been with him for many years. How could he let anything happen to these two people? At this moment, he was so excited that he half propelled his body and tried to get up, but failed. He coughed violently again, almost coughing out his lungs. Cough, 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 cough. When Lin Jiuzhou heard the movement behind him, he stepped out of the door and unexpectedly agreed. "Good." Outside the door. When Lin Jiuzhou came out, he saw his father, Lin Shufeng, the head of the Lin family, waiting for him in the yard. Lin Shufeng looked at the expressionless eldest son in front of him, and it was clear that he was really angry. He was angry, but also a little relieved at the same time. "What makes me angry is that my youngest son is useless." Fortunately, even though his most accomplished eldest son is cruel, he takes his family members very seriously. This is undoubtedly a good thing. What are you going to do about this matter? No one can easily insult our Lin family. Everyone involved must pay the price. The juniors should handle their own affairs. As the eldest brother, I have to stand up for the younger ones. Lin Jiuzhou spoke calmly. Lin Shufeng looked pleased and nodded with satisfaction. "Okay, I don't care about this matter. I'll leave it to you." Lin Jiuzhou nodded to his father and left directly. Not long after Lin Jiuzhou left, the housekeeper walked in. "Head of the family, the head of the Bai family is here to visit." "Not see." Lin Shufeng refused domineeringly. "When things have reached this point, what nonsense is there to talk about?" Chen family. After Chen Beiyuan played with Anu in the blood pool for a while, he slowly changed his clothes under an BU's service and walked towards the living room alone. In the living room, Beiyuza, who had been waiting for a while, couldn't sit still when he saw Chen Beiyuan appear, with an excited expression on his face. "Brother-in-law, you're not stupid. You know how to come towards me. If you run back to Bai's house, I'm afraid Lin Jiuzhou will intercept you halfway." The two Bai family war emperors you sent back to report the news were caught by the Lin family halfway. "Brother-in-law, please stop laughing at me. Thank you for sending someone to pick me up. Otherwise, I would have been captured by those bastards from the Lin family. Those dogs' noses are so damn smart, they can even guess where I'm going. This time, I finally understand why the Lin family is one of the guns of the empire. They are all a bunch of perverts." Beiyuza had a wry smile on his face. There were still some scratches on his face, his clothes were in tatters, and he was in a mess. He no longer looked like the young master from aristocratic family before. Obviously, his journey was not as simple as imagined. Even Chen Beiyuan had to admit that his brother-in-law was really lucky. As soon as something happened, she ran to him. She didn't stay in the Kyoto nightclub, and she didn't run to the Bai family. Otherwise, she would have been caught by the Lin family long ago. On the contrary, two Bai family war emperors who wanted to run back to the Bai family to report the news were intercepted by the Lin family halfway. Their lives and deaths are still unknown. But even so, Beiyuza, under the protection of his own bodyguard Taoist, rushed all the way towards the Chen family, but he was almost blocked by the Lin family who came and was directly arrested. At that time, Beiyuza and his bodyguard Taoist had been pressed to the ground and rubbed by a group of Lin family war emperors, preparing to beat them half to death and drag them back to the Lin family. I'm afraid Beiyuza never dreamed that the Lin family had such terrifying fighting power. After just a few encounters, Taoist, my own bodyguard, was knocked down. At the critical moment, the people sent by Chen Beiyuan arrived just in time and brought the person back directly. He only suffered some superficial injuries, which is fine, and his own nurse Taoist is still resuscitating him. Those people are all veterans of the Lin family who have retired from the battlefield. Each and every one of them is a monster that crawled out from the pile of dead people and the grave of vicious beasts. You have offended the Lin family badly, otherwise, the Lin family would not have released those guys. But it's good that people are fine. Chen Beiyuan looked at the depressed brother-in-law in front of him, smiled and shook his head, looking calm and calm. It is not that simple for the Lin family to be the second gun of the empire. Since ancient times, those who can hold military power have been beaten. Even in the Donghua Empire, the Lin family is ranked among the top 5 forces. Even the imperial family needs to show a certain amount of respect to the Lin family. Although the Bai family is strong, they are not armed with guns after all. It is naturally impossible to confront them head-on. Brother-in-law, I didn't know the importance of the Donghua Chen family before, but now I can clearly feel it. When the people from the Lin family saw the people you sent, they were like little devils seeing the king of hell. They didn't even dare to take action. They turned around and ran away without hesitation. Beiyuan looked at the calm brother-in-law in front of him with mixed feelings on his face. It was only now that he truly felt the terror of the Donghua Chen family. Before, he and his bodyguard Taoist were pushed to the ground by the monsters of the Lin family and were about to be dragged away by force when his brother-in-law's people arrived. Those Lin family monsters dared to touch the Bai family, but when they saw the brother-in-law's people appeared, they chose to let them go and give in without saying a word. At this moment, he still clearly remembers those expressionless Lin family monsters. When they saw someone from the Chen family, they looked like they had seen a ghost, and there was even a trace of fear in their eyes. If those people dare to take action, today next year will be their death anniversary. Chen Beiyuan seemed very calm. He picked up the teacup next to him and took a sip. The person he sent to pick up Beiyuan was an elite stranger from the Chen family. It is not an exaggeration to say that the veterans of the Lin family have seen ghosts. What is an extraordinary person? The aliens on the border front often rob human race women and violate them. Eventually, a group of foreigners with alien characteristics will be born. They have the blood of aliens and the human race flowing in their bodies. Those alien bloodlines include Tauren clan, Fierce Tiger clan, Cat clan, Leopard clan. The foreign people have the powerful physique of a foreign race, and they also inherit the talent that humans can cultivate. It can be said that they combine the advantages of the two races. Unfortunately, due to the mixing of the two bloodlines, the temperament of those foreigners is very unstable, and they can easily fall into animalistic madness and go on a killing spree. They are like unstable volcanoes, capable of injuring those around them at any time. Even if some people try to eliminate the hidden dangers in their bodies, they all end up in vain. Therefore, even the human race and alien races dislike such unstable, deformed monsters, considering them to be genetically mutated freaks. However, in the hands of the Donghua Chen family, there is an ace army specially formed by strangers, and every one of them is a madman. Once these madmen take action, they are really crazy and will not stop fighting. Even if their heads are cut off and their heads are gone, they can still kill people and animals with a butcher knife. This is a legion specifically designed for killing. Even the aliens and ferocious beasts on the border front will feel heartfelt fear when they see this aliens army. So far, no one knows how the Chen family controls this army of aliens who are not afraid of death. Even within the Donghua Empire, no one could figure out how the Chen family did it. To be honest, when those monsters from the Lin family saw this thing, it was no different than seeing a ghost. Because once they take action, the foreigners may suffer casualties, but they will definitely be wiped out. This is the result of bloody lessons. Brother-in-law awesome. At this moment, Beiyuan couldn't find any other words to describe it, and could only use the simplest and vulgar words to express the admiration in his heart at this moment. At the critical moment, it has to be my brother-in-law. If he had expected his old man to come to rescue him, he would have been taken to the Lin family to be punished. Maybe his life would not be in danger, but his own novice might be in danger. Little Lord. At this moment, a figure wearing a dark cloak appeared next to Chen Beiyuan, lowered his body and said something. Beiyu's eyes changed, and he keenly saw a pair of fluffy cat ears under the dark cloak of the figure. He immediately thought of the team that went to rescue him before and couldn't help but swallow his saliva. Perhaps sensing his gaze, the alien with cat ears, who was covered by a pitch-black cloak and couldn't see clearly, suddenly raised his head. A pair of green cat eyes glowed with cold light, which instantly frightened Beiyu's so much that he almost urinated. "Okay, thank you for your hard work. Go down first." "Yes, young master." The figure in a dark cloak withdrew his gaze, nodded respectfully towards Chen Beiyuan, and then, like an agile, black cat, disappeared without a trace. Chen Beiyuan put down the teacup in his hand. His eyes flashed with strange colors. He looked at his brother-in-law, who was about to pee in front of him, and said meaningfully, "Just now, Lin Zhuzhou personally visited the Wang family, the Wei family, the Zhu family, the Yi family, these top families to seek explanation from Lin Zhuxiao. Those of your friends, now, either have their legs or hands broken. No one is spared."
Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed today's episode. If you did, please like, share, and subscribe.